Babu Bot is back. You're a very good man. Very, very good man. Very good man, Jenny. Very, very good man. He's all happy and peppy, thinking that, you know, things are finally going well for him, which they were. Brian George, who, of course, I know him as, of course, who plays Babu, and also for playing Rajesh Kutterpalli's father in The Big Bang Theory. He returns, and this is the second episode he was in. The first one, of course, was back in season 3, when he was the owner of the Dream Cafe. And, of course, you know, things just didn't work out for him there. But, he has a very exciting story here at first. And Brian George even mentions it as well. Because, you know, he reads the script and he's like, oh my goodness, I'm working in the restaurant. I may be a reoccurring character. This is exciting. Flips the page even further and he goes, oh, I'm living in this building. Holy smokes, that's even better. Flips the page and it doesn't end well for him, unfortunately. But we'll get to that, of course, you know, later on. But another good episode. Like I said, the disc that's full of episodes that I love. And this is, of course, definitely one of them. The pick was good. I like that one. This one I liked probably a little more. The next one, yeah, it's probably the next one. The movie is probably my least favorite one on this disc. But this one, this was good. Because I did love Babu's character. He was a very, very good character for sure. I wish they would have had him in more shows, but unfortunately, what happened here could not be the case. So, at the beginning of the episode, George is in Monk's talking to this Chinese woman named Cheryl, and she was a lawyer of like many different, you know, fields. And he made a good conversation with her, and she thought he was funny. Of course, George, being very insecure, when she asks, "Are your friends funny like you?" George says, "No, I don't have any funny friends." So she walks away and she leaves. They exchange numbers and he's going to call her. George then goes and sits down with Jerry and Elaine when they get here, and he's telling them about Cheryl and everything. And they're going to be going out in a couple days. They also said something like, "Oh, you know, maybe we can all get together, the four of us, to have dinner together." But then George thinks of how he lied to Cheryl, saying that none of his friends are funny. And with how much she loved to laugh and with how funny she thought George was, he was scared that what if she thought that Jerry and Elaine were much more funnier than him. So he got scared and was trying to basically tell them, you know, no, don't do this. You know, trying to come up with excuses as why he wanted to be just the two of them. While this is going on, though, Jerry happens to notice Babu Bot, who again used to be the owner of the Dream Cafe that went bankrupt and went out of business. Jerry went over to say hi to him. He was happy for him. He got a job there. You know, he also was living out in Jerry's building and whatnot. Like, things were working out. After, of course, they did not. Whenever, you know, Jerry suggested him changing his menu to all Pakistani, and still didn't work out for him, and he just flipped out, and, you know, we didn't hear from him for a while. So again, that was very unfortunate. But here's a little twist here, of course. Jerry, of course, did not know this because Jerry had just returned from a 2-week tour. And he's been asking Elaine for a while to give him his mail. Elaine was, you know, picking up his mail for him while he was gone. And she was just going to give it to him, but she kept forgetting to give it to him. Kramer also was away at a fantasy baseball camp at this time. And I love this quote that George says. Kramer is away at as a fantasy camp. His whole life is a fantasy camp. People should plunk down $2,000 to live like him for a week. Do nothing, fall ass backwards into money, mooch food off your neighbors, and have sex without dating. That's a fantasy camp, which was, of course, you know, a bold line that was, of course, used, I think, in a couple of like the highlight films and whatnot. But I like that line. But of course, Jerry and Elaine said, "Oh, we can go to." They're going to go to some auto show on the night that they talked to George about maybe meeting up with him and Cheryl. But he's like, no, don't. But he doesn't want to tell them the reason why. And then Elaine said, "Wait, maybe Jerry can go to Isabella's." Then Jerry's like, "Nah, I don't like Isabella's." So that gives George an idea. We're going to Isabella's. Of course, ironically though, Elaine talks Jerry in, and they go to, they end up there, and Elaine's like, oh, let's put the tables together, let's sit together, and George's like, no, don't do this, blah, 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 but then finally they sit down, and then George's like trying everything he can to avoid them from being funny. Now, Elaine, if you remember back in the Virgin episode, she mentioned she was being sued by Ping, the Chinese takeout guy who delivers her Chinese food, because of that accident he got in. He was suing her. So Elaine was asking her a couple questions, and she knew she was a lawyer, trying to, maybe try to figure out how to win the case. Until it comes up that the fact that the guy she is up against is Chinese. And Cheryl says, is his name Ping? She asked if her last name was Bennis, and she said yes. Turns out that Ping is her cousin, and she was representing him in the case. But she said she would try to talk to Ping, and she says that she sees that they're all nice people. She walks away to go make a phone call. George finally tells Jerry and Elaine basically that he's afraid that if they're funnier, that they'll look more funnier than him. Which of course Jerry goes, Biff. I just love how the constant Biff references. Biff, Biff, Biff. So then finally they say, fine, we won't be funny. Now, sometimes, when I'm eating dinner with my parents, and I'm like going on and on talking, I honestly don't eat sometimes. Even though, this is why people think I'm a slow eater. I love to eat, but sometimes I eat slow because if I get in a roll on conversation, talking about things, sometimes, I go on and on. If I say, hey, settle down and eat your food, and I'm like, you want me to be miserable? It's just another dark day. And I always think back to this episode because Jerry was acting all like, dark and mysterious and like depressed sounding because he was trying not to sound funny. He was trying not to make George look not as funny compared to him. Which of course Cheryl found a little strange, but she was saying but she still was on board with trying to get Ping to drop the lawsuit, which he did because they thought they were nice. She thought they were nice people. Kramer then comes back early from his fantasy camp, apparently because they were playing like a Legends game or something like that, and he hit Joe Pebbleton, whatever the guy's name was, and they got into a little bench clearing brawl, and he accidentally knocked out Mickey Mantle. So that's why he got the camp ended earlier, because of that incident. Meanwhile, though, they then hear some noise out in the hallway. Babu is being arrested. He, of course, yelling for Jerry to help him, and then the visa people tell him, the police tell him that his visa was expired. And Elaine had finally brought over his mail. She looked though Jerry was looking through his mail though, and he found, because apparently Babu never turned in his visa renewal application. Babu claims he never got it. Jerry though was going through his mail, and he found out that they put Babu's visa renewal application in Jerry's mailbox instead of Babu's by mistake. So now they're in big trouble here. So already establishing like a good bond with Cheryl, even though they're lying and not acting funny. Excuse me. They decided to contact Cheryl because she mentioned she does stuff with immigration law. Also, she was like specializing in many different fields as an attorney. So Jerry meets up with her, and she even says that she has an immigration friend that owes her a favor or something like that. So she'll try to get things straightened out. But of course, Jerry did act all dark and disturbed, which really caught Cheryl's attention. And of course, Elaine also thanked Cheryl again, and she goes, "Oh, you're lucky, because if you did, you would have been, paying big bucks, basically. Like, I mean, that, basically, Elaine would have had no case if Ping didn't drop the lawsuit against her." But then Jerry and Elaine then go to see Babu, And of course, Babu is still, saying how Jerry's a good man and everything, this and that. But then when it comes out that the mail that his visa renewal application got into Jerry's mail by mistake, and with Jerry being out of town for 2 weeks, Elaine collecting his mail, she took forever to bring it over to him. Babu starts flipping out, saying, "Now he's saying, you bad man, you very very bad man," just like he did before, of course, in the cafe. But then they said, "Cool, Babu, calm down. The wheels are in motion." They said, "We have a lawyer that's going to look into this for you and get things fixed for you. The wheels are in motion. The wheels are in motion." Unfortunately, that was not the case. No pun intended. Because Jerry's dark and mysterious, depressing, attitude actually caught the attention of Cheryl. So she tells George she's attracted to Jerry because of his dark and mysterious sense of humor. He's disturbed and everything. George, then panicking, tells her the truth that she told them not. He told them not to be funny because he was worried that she would think that they're funnier than him. And he's saying, "I'm the one that's more messed up. I'm the one where it's dark and disturbed." This just led Cheryl to be completely turned off. She runs out of the car, doesn't come back. She does not help out Babu, and the lawsuit was back on. Because the next day, George came. There was a friend of Babu's came looking for Babu, and then they found out that Babu was deported to Pakistan. Which, as Brian George said in the Inside Look, it was such a promising episode. It's like he's living in the building, he got a job at Monk's, but then he reads the rest of the script and it says deported to Every time I talk about this episode, I always want to say deported to Azkaban. This is not Azkaban prison. This is not Harry Potter. This is Seinfeld. But he gets deported to Pakistan, and he was just like, "Oh man, like what the hell?" It was like, yay, then. Still a great episode, though, as he always says. But so they found that out through that, and then George shows up, tells him what happened, and then Ping shows up to deliver Kramer his Chinese food. But Elaine didn't know at this time that Cheryl, the lawsuit was back on, because Cheryl then tells Ping, which again, reminder, Ping is her cousin, that basically they're all liars. So the lawsuit's back on, double the damages though. And again, reminding was that, as Cheryl mentioned earlier, she is very tough in court. She goes, basically, Elaine has no chance. Hasta la vista, baby. And then the last scene shows Babu talking to a friend in Pakistan and saying, what all happened and how someday he will find his way back to America and Jerry will get his revenge. And of course, the next time we would see Babu would be in the finale. As it's always said, Babu basically put the nail in the coffin in the finale. I can quote just about that. Just like the airport, I can just about quote that whole speech Babu made. But I will not talk about that, of course, till I get to the finale. And that's the Visa, guys. Again, another good episode. A lot of good things I like to reference. Also, forgot to mention too, Kramer did try to go to Mickey's restaurant to apologize, but instead he got thrown up. Even though he got on his knees and said, "Please, Mickey, please love me, Mickey, please love me, Mickey," and he got thrown out. So yeah, that's unfortunate, but it happens. So yes, Elaine unfortunately is going to be paying double the damages now on Ping. George loses out on another woman. Jerry, unfortunately, was not able to save his friend. Babu's back in Pakistan. That's the Visa, guys. Another good episode. I enjoyed it. The next one, though, is the only one on the on this disc that it's okay, but it's just not one of my favorite. It's not one of those episodes that I would go out of my way to watch. It's just there. But it's the movie. We'll do that one next. So till then, guys, what are your thoughts on the Visa episode? Leave your thoughts down in the comments section below. Be sure as always to slap a like on the video, subscribe for more content to my channel, and follow me on Twitter as well at DemandAirboy93. Till then, guys, I'm checking out. I'll see you later. Remember, you won't be very bad. Very, very, very bad man. Very, very bad man. You're a good man. You're a good man. Very, very good man. Very good man, Jerry. You're a bad man. You're very, very bad man. We'll see that finger, of course, return in the finale. So till then, guys, I'm checking out. Babu Bot. We'll see you further down the line in the finale. I'll catch you guys later. Next time in the movie. Peace out, everybody.